You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom. This is episode 53, and I am Church of the Game Grinder, and unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties this time, so Jason was not able to make it for this episode, but the show must go on as we are joined by a special guest, BioPhoenix, and you made the time available, so we'll do the podcast. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys too. And of course, this is BioPhoenix here. And thank you for having me on your show today.
Yeah. This is kind of our second go here because we're going to try to do this. But Jason's connection just wasn't working out, unfortunately. So kind of retreading some ground that we just covered. But so as we usually start things out, we just kind of talk about what we've been up to, what we've been playing. If you don't mind talking about that again.
I don't mind at all. I can talk about games all day. So
Cool. So what have you been playing?
So the first game I've been playing is Curse of the Moon, the Bloodstain little side game that they had.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been playing that a lot. I've been loving it a lot. I'm at the final boss of the game, and that game's pretty hard, but I think it's very, very fair of its difficulty.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's your direct comparisons to Castlevania 3, but unless I just don't remember, I thought Castlevania 3 was particularly tough game, and this one I didn't have a whole lot of problems getting through. It's forgiving. It's a lot more forgiving, especially since you can accumulate like extra lives pretty easily, it seems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Yeah, that is a really good game. Definitely is worth the price that it goes for.
Yeah, $10 from Inti Creates. They make some good stuff. So I'm glad they are the ones involved with this project.
Yeah, it kind of makes me curious to see how the full game is going to be like.
Yeah, I'm hopeful as a backer. I liked the ideas and what Ego was presenting. So Castlevania Symphony of the Night being such a beloved game for me, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the chance. I'm not necessarily expecting great things, but I'm pretty confident. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But we'll have to see what happens when it comes out.
Oh, yeah. And the other game I want to mention real quick that I've been playing is Grandia 2. I've been streaming that on my channel lately. And, that game is fucking awesome. I love it. Really good characters, especially the main character. He's funny as hell for how, he doesn't give a shit about anything. And also the battle theme is, one of my all-time favorites. So, because that was, one of the things that I knew about the game before I played it was the battle theme. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
I think I have 1 and 2. I definitely have Grandia 1, but I haven't played it yet. I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's a series I've been trying to squeeze in, but it's just like them backlogs. Trying to keep up with the current stuff. Squeezing JRPGs that tend to be, long games. I don't know how long the Grandia games are, but I'm guessing they're not terribly short.
I don't know how long they are either, because my live stream is a blind play, so some of the people that follow my channel have been kind of helping me out with that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, I only played 2. I didn't play much of 1. So
okay. Oh, and speaking of your channel, I forgot to ask you to let any listeners who might not be familiar with your content just what you're about, what you do again.
It's okay. And like I know I've been doing doing a lot of live streams, but my main focus on my channel is usually game reviews on games that you typically don't hear too much people talking about, and I also cover stuff on like systems that also are like a little bit like obscure in a way. So that's what I mostly do, and of course on the side I'll do anime reviews ish. I really like doing those a lot too, and I'll do pick up videos at the end of the month talking about like the games I got, and hopefully you get a recommendation of what I think about it, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that sums it up what I do. There's a couple other things, but that's mostly what I typically do.
Yeah, and if there's anybody who's not familiar with BioPhoenix's channel, definitely check it out. The reviews, I personally I enjoy his reviews, especially the anime reviews. I'm not sure what the big difference between the game reviews and the anime reviews is, but for some reason, like in particular, I really enjoy the anime reviews. I think the of course we're all passionate about gaming and stuff, but I think especially with the anime reviews, you can kind of feel your passion for the anime in the reviews when you're talking about them, which is great because for me, I don't get a lot of exposure to like anime reviews necessarily, so it's good shit. Good shit.
Oh yeah, that's good to hear because I find that anime reviews are a lot harder to do because there's a lot of stuff that goes into an anime that can be like that can make it really good, or one that can make it not as good. And of course, trying to get my thoughts into there is it can be difficult.
Yeah, especially being so much out there and so many different like eras, and trying to like convey those ideas across, from like animes from the 70s compared to animes of the 2000s, like pretty big differences there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also yes, I do cover like many different eras. I've done stuff in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and all that.
But yeah, good spread. I wish more people who talked about anime covered more generational stuff, because at this point it almost seems like there's like 20, 30 years of anime that like doesn't even get like acknowledged anymore, kind of in some of the not necessarily circles that I'm involved in, but some of the information or communities that I do know of. You don't hear a lot about, you'll hear like the big heavy hitters and stuff, but there's a lot out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So then I guess for what I've been up to, last time I had mentioned that I had just started Dark Souls Remastered, and I pretty much binged the hell out of that game. Like I think last episode I talked about that I'm just, now that I've played 3 of the current From Software games, I started with Dark Souls 3, that I played Bloodborne end of last year, beginning of this year. Now Dark Souls Remastered. I don't know what it is about like that specific formula of games that they do, but the addiction factor, I guess, for me, it strikes a chord, and I don't usually binge games like as much as I binge the From Software games, and it was so good. I loved it. I wanted more, but I'm like, I'm not really going to do the New Game Plus thing, because that's more kind of building towards like PvP. Once you start doing you play through the game once, sure, you can like beat bosses or easier and stuff, but I really feel the draw for New Game Plus is to like better your PvP build, and that's kind of, the PvP stuff's fun, being invaded and invading other people, but not necessarily my focus.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, those games are so fucking good. Like, it's basically like a 3D Castlevania game almost when you think about it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that level design, because with a good Metroidvania game, they keep you constantly going and not necessarily doing a lot of backtracking, and giving you all these shortcuts and stuff, and that's the level design for Dark Souls really like just blows me away sometimes. Like I'll be playing through this level and going down this path or whatever, and it's like there's no way I'm anywhere near this other location, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, here's an elevator that quickly takes you back to this bonfire. It's like, yes, I don't have to like struggle to get through this entire section again. It's sweet. I love the level design.
Yeah,
combat's solid too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's one of the things I love about those games. It's just, it feels so satisfying just to explore and just look at the scenery and shit.
Yeah, like trying to explain the games to somebody who's like never played it or not really familiar is really tough to do, because like most people, when you talk about Dark Souls or Bloodborne or whatever, it's like they're hard. It's a really challenging game. And they're like, well, why do I want to just play a game and get my ass kicked over and over? And it's like, well, it's when you finally don't get your ass kicked, it feels really good. Like you made progress. That's like a reward in itself. And it's kind of hard to explain that, because the progression like feels so rewarding.
Yeah, no, I think like what I would say with when it comes to like those kind of games, that it kind of feels a little bit more like of like an older school game, where like, you know, a lot of old games were fucking hard. And this one is just like that. Of course, it does have some things about it that are pretty forgiving. Like for an example, like I know in the first Demon Souls, if you like died a certain amount of times, I think like, your maximum health got lower, which such shit.
Ouch.
But yeah, no, in Dark Souls like 1, 2, and 3 from the ones that I played, yeah, like I think they're very fair at being difficult. Like as hard as they are, there is a lot of things that does counterbalance it to make it more fair. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's for the most part for me. Like I don't know. I always it feels like there's kind of like two kind of groups who play the Souls games. People who are like, I'm going to get through this game by myself. I'm going to beat these bosses by myself. And I'm not one of those people. It's like, if I could summon help and not have to fight this boss 50 times, I'm going to do that. And it makes it more fun for me, even if it's just like random strangers. I think it adds a lot to the game. And I think it helps a lot too. Like for the most part, you're going to be going through the levels mostly by yourself, but you almost always can summon help for bosses, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then so I beat that, beat all the bosses, all the areas, did a few of the kind of like famous quest lines with like Solaire, who's the sun bro, and Sigmire, who's the Onion Knight, who kind of reoccurs in the games. And it was really cool seeing some of those original stories and events happen, especially playing Dark Souls 3, which takes place in the same kingdom, essentially, because 2, I think, is a different place. So seeing some of those references was really cool. And as a remaster goes, I'm not sure. I know some people were disappointed because they didn't like add new things or change things. They just made it look nicer. I think there was some like minor changes with some of the combat and stuff, but
yeah, from what I heard, they made the frame rate more consistent. Like I heard, like on the original systems, like there's like one area of the game, I forget what it's called.
Blight Town.
Yeah, I think it's that. Where like when you like go through that, it like frame drops like a lot, and then I think on this one it doesn't do it not nearly as much.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would have happened. It's basically kind of like this underground area that's just all these bridges everywhere, and of course there's enemies all over these bridges, and because it kind of is like weaving and wrapping in kind of a condensed space, there's a lot going on. So I'm glad I didn't have to suffer through that with the original version, because that place just sucks because it's dark. You're on tight bridges constantly. It's so easy to die. I died there a lot.
And one thing I will add that is kind of good why they remastered this is that apparently a lot of the servers for the original games, like they're like barely active from what I heard. Like so now like newer people that didn't get a chance to play it before and they want to play with like other people, then they can get to do that again.
Yeah, that's definitely nice. And I, for the most, like I said, I had no problem summoning people for bosses. Levels were hit or miss, but it's kind of what people are willing to do. Like, do they want to help you go through this level, or do they just want to kill a boss and get a bunch of souls and go about their business? So, yeah, it's great. I'm glad they remastered it because there was enough encouragement for me to check it out. And then that the game that I just finished last night. At the time of recording this podcast anyways, is it seems like it might be like one of the more debated games in terms of quality this year. I haven't really heard anybody say many nice things about it as far as YouTubers go and stuff, but commenters just like randos on the internet seem to be enjoying it. But I just played through Agony for the PS4. Have you heard about that one?
I've heard about it. All I know is that apparently the game has like a ton of dicks everywhere.
Yes, there's
all I know. And apparently you can't stream it because your account will get not your account, but your stream will get like fucked over.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a good amount of nudity. There's a lot of boobs, and I think probably for every pair of boobs there's a dick. It's not like sexualized. It's just it's there, but it's there. And so it's basically what Agony is essentially another kind of walking sim. Think like Amnesia, Outlast, stuff like that. Very minimal combat. There is some combat in the game, but not much. It's mostly just hitting things with the torch if you can. Most demons in the game will just kill you immediately because you're just a dude with a torch. What are you going to do against a demon? But the premise is like you're a dude, you get sent to hell, and you hear about this red goddess who may potentially be able to get you out of hell somehow. But pretty much the whole game you're trying to get to her, or kind of like following commands of this succubus that seems to be kind of like following you and taunting you throughout the game. Yeah, it was interesting. You definitely you have to like walking sims. If somebody does not like walking sims, they will not like this game because it's a walking sim. There's not a lot going on. It's the big draw for this game is the landscapes. It's pretty demented. Like it's very, as far as games that have tried to do representations of hell. Like I haven't played Dante's Inferno, so I can't really comment on that.
That's a good.
But I've heard some people kind of say like there's some ideas that both kind of use a lot of like just gross kind of visceral scenery, rooms that seem like they're made of like body parts and gore everywhere, statues, bodies strewn about, and it like talking about the premise kind of just sounds like it's like edgelord the game. but it's trying to craft this environment and atmosphere, and that I think was probably the strongest part about the game is just seeing these crazy sceneries. Like some of it turned out pretty good, some not so much. It's made by an indie studio, so they didn't have a big budget. Like this game in the hands of like a AAA developer, like it could have been amazing, but being an indie studio, not a ton of funding, it's not the best graphics in the world. Kind of dated in some aspects, like especially the human characters look a little rough around the edges, kind of like maybe like late PS2, early PS3. I think the first time when I saw a person, I was like, "Oh man, that person's almost as scary as looking as the demon." But no, it was decent. It's a hard recommend for me to recommend it to most people because like you really have to have that like draw of like just the hellscapes and the scenery because gameplay is really slow. It can be frustrating at times getting through some of these areas. I never actually played like Amnesia, so I don't know how tough that was sometimes, but just like there's some rooms you get into where there'll be a monster and it's just trying to figure out how to get through without dying can be tough because there's a minimal direction. There's not a lot you can do. But one thing I will say is the environments, like some of these levels are just, they're massive, like insanely large. And you can kind of like beeline it through most of the levels. But if you do exploring and stuff, there's, like a lot of games do, there's lore notes and collectibles and things like that. Not really my draw, but just to see like the different areas and stuff, I tried to make it a point to try to explore as much as I could. But no, overall, I would say I liked it. It wasn't great. I hoped it would have been better, so it didn't really meet my expectations. But then again, I didn't really watch a lot of gameplay videos or anything before. Like I saw the initial trailers, I'm like, I'm kind of sold on the game, so that's good. I'm gonna check it out and hope for the best. And this is one of the times when, maybe it didn't live up to expectations. If I could have got it on sale, like, yeah, I'm not gonna really complain too much on that. But it was only $40, so at least it wasn't 60. But I played through the main campaign, and then you can unlock a succubus mode where you can play through as the succubus, which is actually I really like that mode because you can run constantly. You don't have to worry about stamina, so you can kind of get through some of these big levels. You can actually kill stuff, which is kind of cool how they do it because it's almost like not necessarily quick time, but you'll get a button prompt and then she'll just like eviscerate everything and like rip out their hearts constantly, whether it's humans or demons, which is pretty cool. And it was cool. There's like 5 or 6 different endings you can get. Some of the other ones are pretty convoluted, so I'm like, I played through the game twice. I think I'm good.
Yeah. Funny enough, I never even heard about this game until like it came out, and then all of a sudden I hear people saying how it's like not that good and all that stuff. And then when I looked into it, it looks like an alright game. I said, it would be a game I would probably get like on like a sale.
Yeah,
because it does like you said, the concept is kind of interesting, and I've played a little bit of Dante's Inferno, and that game was pretty badass and pretty fucking like out there. Like there was a lot of shit in that game. I'm surprised people haven't even complained about, but I guess that's just people complaining about everything these days. But
yeah, big difference there.
Yeah, but no, though, like you said, it's a game that I think I might be interested into it. I played through Amnesia. I thought it was okay. Had some interesting ideas, some things. Yeah, I don't know. Walking sims are kind of hit and miss for me.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't played many, but the ones that I have played so far, it's like, a lot of times they're kind of like heavy concept. So unless you embrace that concept and kind of just try to make the most of the atmosphere and stuff, a lot can be a loss or be left to desire or left up for desire, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know. I like the crazy. I like weird. I'm a fan of like horror and gore and stuff. So kind of seeing a lot of those things were pretty wild. I mean, there was some pretty gnarly stuff in Agony. Sometimes, like if you told me, hey, here's this game and has a fuck ton of nudity, I'd be like, I think I might just play that game because of that. But once you actually get in Agony and you start kind of seeing like what they're doing with the nudity, it's like I said, it's not like it's not focused on it. It's just you have people who are in hell and they're like in tattered clothes and they're dirty and they're naked. Like,
yeah,
not much. I mean, now the succubuses, there's a little like titillization there. Like, I mean, because succubuses are, I think like the lore of them being kind of like sexual creatures and predators, whatnot, kind of works out pretty well. But I mean, it can be jarring, especially if somebody's not comfortable with that sort of stuff. But
well, I think when you go into a game called Agony, it's about hell and all that stuff. I guess you should expect that there's going to be some pretty messed up things. I mean,
yeah.
The sounds of it kind of sounds like a game that would be played by like metalheads or some shit.
It's kind of is what it is. And there was actually a bit of controversy with it too, because when they were trying to get classification, they were initially being denied like across the board for some, especially like one of the endings, I guess, was pretty graphic. Like it was basically like a demon like having sex with another demon, and I mean they showed everything, like penetration. I mean, yeah, it's probably a bit far, but it makes you kind of wonder, why is that so controversial? But here we can have like rooms of people impaled with, spears and shit, and that's okay. But a little bit of like whatever. But and then of course, there's certain communities that get offended about various things. Like they're like, well, there's a lot of things that people are seeing was like, the screenshots of like these, like I said, like women and stuff impaled on things and being tortured and whatnot. And it's like, there's also equally as many like men and male characters, the same thing happening to them. Like, why are you being triggered by this, but not the whole idea in general? It's weird.
Oh yeah, well no, people are always going to complain about a lot of things. I think this is what it is.
Yeah. So besides that, like I said, I just finished that up, so not sure what I will be playing next, but I got a couple ideas. So let's see. Next bit here. We were doing, for the last couple episodes, we started adding a little segment here of a retro game highlight. And did you have any suggestions for a game in particular to just, here's an awesome retro game?
All right. Yeah, I got one. The one I want to mention today is Hot Wheels Turbo Racing on PS1.
Okay.
Hot Wheels toy line. Normally, if you look at this, you might think like, it's just going to be some generic racer. But once you play it, though, it's actually a lot. It uses a lot of the older models of Hot Wheels cars. It has a lot of fun, really cool track designs, and also the gravity or the physics in that game are so like wonky. Sometimes it's fucking great, and I love that. And also, weirdly enough, the game was published by EA back when they were actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Miss those days.
But yeah, I do think that is actually a good racing game that, you probably wouldn't think would be great, but it is actually a lot more fun than you think it would be.
And that was Hot Wheels...
Turbo on PS1.
Turbo Racing.
I think they're
very cool.
64 as version as well, but I could be wrong. But I know the one I played was on PS1.
Cool. Well, if anybody listening is familiar with that one, I would definitely be interested to hear your thoughts as well. So then I guess, kind of the, you can't really be making video game content at this point and not talk about E3 to some extent. And, it's kind of become a yearly tradition on the podcast to spend some time talking about E3, and this year is no exception.
Wait, what's
E3?
No, I watched most of it.
Yeah. Just E3 in general, I guess. How did you feel about this year, just overall, like
Oh, like out of all the conferences?
just the whole thing? Like, are you pretty happy seeing some new game releases? Were you overall disappointed? Not you didn't see the games you wanted to see. Like, just general thoughts, all conferences. What do you think?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I mean, it showed off a lot of games that I was interested in, want to know more about that we found out a little bit before, and then it also showed off some games that I wasn't expecting to get made, or ones that like I wasn't sure about. And yeah, it's pretty great. I think 2019 is going to be like a really good year. Me think.
Yeah. Maybe like a 2017 again, which
Yeah. Oh my god, last year was just nut shit on that.
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to games, as long as there's things that look interesting, coming up semi soon. It's easy for me to get excited because I kind of feel like sometimes, especially when you look at like comment sections for anything, they're always a shitstorm on like popular videos, or if you watched any of the streams for E3 on Twitch, the comment section was just like flying by at a mile a minute, and it just seemed like it was just constant barrage of shit posting.
Oh yeah. I see that on the YouTube one a lot. I just hide that stuff because one, it's just distracting, and two, it kind of slows things down a lot too. Because there's like so much people in there.
Yeah,
So.
but it kind of seems like, I don't know, especially this year, and especially when it came to social media. Like, I found myself over the last few days, like, not even wanting to go on like Facebook or Twitter and stuff, just because not most of my friends, they're happy we're getting all these games, but I was just seeing like so much like random just negativity, like, here's whatever game, you name whatever game that people are excited for from E3 this year, and there's this many people that are just shitting all over it. It's like, what? Why can't we just enjoy games?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I know one thing, and I think this is one thing that kind of has to do with E3 in general, is that usually before the E3 happens, you see a lot of like bullshit leaks. And yeah, and I think a lot of it kind of has to do with like, it kind of spoils the surprise. And because sometimes those leaks are right, sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's usually something that a lot of people kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I think people like I think we feel kind of spoiled now that that we have that now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know Jason would totally agree with that. The spoilers and the leaks like take away the surprise and the excitement a lot of times, and I don't know. Personally, I think I would rather not hear anything and then wait for the announcements at E3, because it's just more exciting like that. These companies are working hard making these games, and they want to show you these games when they're ready to show you. And when other people are like leaking information and stuff, it kind of takes that away from them.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. Yeah, I usually like to watch it, even though a lot of it is just people hyping up a bunch of shit. But I just think it's entertaining sometimes, especially back in like the old E3s, like that Sony one in 2006. I don't know if you remember that.
Which one?
It was when they were showing off like the PS3, and they did the $5.99 US. Then there was the giant enemy crab meme, and then there was like Ridge Racer. Oh, that makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I like. I don't necessarily try to watch all the conferences, but usually after E3, like one of the first things I'll do is I'll go up on YouTube and I'll look up like cringe compilations to see, pull all those good bits from all those presentations and put them in one nice compact precise video to show me all the weird and uncomfortable crap that happens, because it always does.
Oh yeah, it's amusing stuff, and I do like that though.
And I feel bad. Here's like, developers and game studios, like they just want to show off their games, but they, especially when it comes to like stuff with like EA, they're not just gonna let the developers talk. They're gonna get their marketing team, and their marketing team, who probably doesn't even like play video games, they know how to sell video games, but they don't know how to play or relate to gamers. They're going to come up with a presentation, and gamers are going to think this is really cool. And it's like, nobody thinks that's really cool. What you're doing right now, just stop, please stop.
Yeah, no, I do get that. I mean, if I was on stage, for me personally, if I was like, like a game developer and I was on the stage having to do some weird shit, I'd fucking run with it. I'd just totally just go all out with it. That's just me though.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I didn't watch much of it this year, but that's kind of what like Devolver Digital does with their presentation. Like they're just like, screw it, we're just gonna do whatever.
Oh yeah, no, that one was fucking good. I love that.
But I think overall it seems like this year they didn't have too much of the like weird stuff.
No,
I think they're catching on that the entire internet's making fun of them, and they don't want to be a big joke.
No, I get that. Yeah.
Which actually, I was kind of thinking about this, like, and this is kind of always a thing with E3, but there seems like maybe it's just me, but it seemed like this year there was a lot less presence by Japanese developers.
Yeah, there was just Square and
Nintendo.
And how can I forget that? Other than that, yeah, those are the only two like major big ones. So I mean, I guess there's a lot of Japanese games that were shown.
Yes.
Yeah, not a lot of like Japanese. Usually, Japan does the whole Tokyo Game Show though. That's their shit. So
that's true. That's true. They always seem to get a hard time when they do presentations and stuff, and it's like, yeah, they don't. English isn't their first language. Of course, they're gonna have an accent or something. Like cut them some slack. That just makes me think of the can't remember the name of the game, but it was the guy who was talking about like 1 million troops. He had like
that's that was the Konami one from
99 or something.
99 Nights, yeah, 99 Nights 2.
Like, just that was just a weird presentation to begin with, but yeah. So let's see, we had EA, Bethesda, Microsoft, Sony, Square Enix, Nintendo, PC Game Show. I think am I missing any other big ones?
Yeah, like did you say Ubisoft?
Ubisoft, yes. For some reason I keep forgetting about their presentation.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, they only really had one that really has me. Well, a couple, I guess. I'm pretty excited for Beyond Good and Evil 2, even though I haven't played the first one.
Oh, me too.
But it looks really cool, and I've always wanted to play the first one. I just haven't gotten to it. But lots of stuff. I made a big list, pretty much of all games that I thought were worth mentioning or looked cool or whatever, and it turned into this ridiculous list. So I think we'll just not go down that whole list, and maybe if there's any like particular games that need a mention or something, we'll talk about it. But one thing that I do just wanted to complain about a little bit was EA's announcement of Command & Conquer Rivals.
Oh God.
Especially the older Command & Conquer series, like I really, really enjoyed those. Command & Conquer 1 and 2, Red Alert, some of the spin-offs and stuff. And then EA bought Westwood, And this was like right when EA started like devouring these companies and like getting involved in the development process and basically ruining the games. And they did that with Command and Conquer. Like Command and Conquer 3, it wasn't very good. Command and Conquer 4, no. And it's been years since we had a Command and Conquer game, and people are like, okay, cool, we're a Command and Conquer game. And they're like, oh, hey, it's a mobile game. Yeah, like nobody who likes Command and Conquer wanted a Command and Conquer mobile game.
No.
Give me a break.
No, the real-time strategy games are meant to be played on PC. That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Mobile games, microtransactions and all that stuff. It's easy money-making scheme, I guess. Like I don't play many mobile games, but most people that I know that play mobile games don't spend any money on them unless they're all lying and ashamed that they are dumping money into these games. But I don't know. It's always sad to see that happen with like a beloved franchise.
Oh, yeah, I know that feel.
Yeah. So I don't know. Overall, did you care much for EA's presentation?
Funny enough, that was like the only one I never got around to watching because I was busy on the day where like that was happening. So
Yeah.
I was like, am I ever gonna like? Is it a good thing that I'm missing this? Probably. But I did look up the highlights to see what was shown, and I did see the pictures and such. So I guess I saw what I needed to see.
Yeah, it sucks that a lot of these games are under the EA umbrella, but I'm not gonna hate on the studios because they're under EA. Like I would prefer not to support EA games, but they got some good studios.
Yeah, and they got a lot of money that they could make a good game, but they don't.
Yeah.
But no,
yeah, I think really the only like standout thing for me for EA was Anthem, and I need more information on that one because I love BioWare, but I don't know, it's kind of looking a lot like Destiny.
Yeah, it does look a lot like Destiny.
It's not really Destiny, like I'm sure it's fun. Everybody I know who's played Destiny are like, yeah, it's fun. Some people they love it, but I don't know. BioWare for me is story heavy, choice heavy games. So it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being a thing with this, or is this just going to be another grindy quest MMO kind of game?
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could get to say about Anthem is that the fact that they don't have a song from the band Anthem, like, how could you not? Okay, no, that's just me just fucking around, but no, it looks okay. I don't know. I can't really say a lot. I liked a couple BioWare games, but I don't know. I just don't have a lot to say. It just looks kind of okay.
Yeah. And who knows? Like, yeah, who knows? We'll see eventually. I hope for the best because I would like them to be able to continue making games. And I've mentioned it before. Like, if Anthem doesn't like sell like incredibly well, I'm pretty sure EA is going to shut the studio down with like recent road bumps that they've had. Mass Effect and
yeah.
Blah blah. Yeah. So then Microsoft got some pretty good show from Microsoft, I would say. A lot of games.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't have an Xbox. Doesn't mean I dislike the Xbox. If somebody wanted to give me an Xbox One, I'd happily take it. But fortunately, a lot of these games I can get on PC as well. So that's great. Yeah, lots of stuff. What do we have? Fallout 76. Are you much of a Fallout person? Do you like the Fallout games?
I I liked the third one a little bit, and I played the first two on PC, and those ones were pretty cool. Like, it was like a Diablo kind of game, and I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. Though they were really hard because the first one was on like a time limit thing. But
Yeah.
other than that one little aspect, though, yeah, I thought they were pretty cool games. I didn't play 4 at all because I don't know. It seemed like they were kind of going for the whole Minecraft thing.
A little bit.
Yeah, so because of that, I don't know. I never really bothered trying it though. And the new 76 one, it looks okay. I don't know. I'm not like wowed by it, but at the same time though, I'm not like hardcore Fallout fan, so
Sure.
that's
Yeah, and it could, I don't know, with them going like full online only. I don't know. I'll have to see once they show how they're gonna execute this.
well, I heard that apparently you can do offline stuff, but I don't know if you're like still connected to an online thing though. That's the thing I don't know about.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the information myself, but there's been a couple places where I saw people saying that there wasn't going to be like NPCs and stuff, which I would hope that they wouldn't take out NPCs because that's your quest givers and just like random story and stuff. But I don't know. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. Being the game collecting sucker that I am, just for the hell of it, for now, I went ahead and pre-ordered the Goofy Collector's Edition that comes with the power suit helmet.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I'm like, if I decide I don't want the game, since I pre-ordered through Amazon, I can just cancel it and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, the helmet did look pretty cool though. In fact, I always thought the power suits in that game looked awesome.
Yes, definitely one of my favorite parts. How about the reveal for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice? The From Software, like, I'm not exactly sure. Is this going to be like a Souls-like game, or are they just going for like an action game?
I think it will be very Souls related. Like, I don't think it's going to be like exact, but I think it's going to have some formulas, like I don't. Well, I guess I can't say for sure, but I guess it's going to have like the whole like level design. Hopefully, that's what I would hope. I would hope they would do that, and maybe have it where like if you die, you have to get your souls back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe stuff like that. It'll be pretty much like a Japanese Bloodborne, basically. That's what I'm thinking they're going to do. Because Bloodborne, even though it has a lot of similarities to Dark Souls, it does also have a lot of things that do make it different, too.
Yes. A lot faster paced, and the Sekiro looks like it's even like faster. Like the impression that with like grappling hook around and stuff. It takes me back to the good old days of Tenchu.
Yeah, funny enough, you mentioned that when they showed that trailer, not at the E3 here, but at the I think it was the Game of the Year show that they showed it.
Yes,
or it was at PSX. That's what it was. When they showed it at the end of last year, and they showed the two swords saying "Shadows Die Twice." That's all it said. I was thinking, like, could this be another Tenchu game? And I was like, shit, that would be fucking great.
Yeah, like the series kind of like died out, unfortunately, but I don't know. I think there's some games here that kind of like stepping up, like Sekiro and Ghosts of Tsushima. Like we're getting our feudal Japan, like samurai Phil coming up here pretty soon, which I'm pretty excited for.
Oh yeah, I always love that type of stuff, and unfortunately, last generation we didn't really get a lot of that. Like the only game I can think of that did have that style from last gen was Way of the Samurai 3, and I guess if you count that one Yakuza spinoff that we never got. Other than that, there isn't really a whole lot, and because PS2 had quite a lot.
Yes, yeah, they had like Onimusha, they had Tenchu, they had all kinds.
Yeah,
yes,
good.
And it's funny you mentioned Way of the Samurai 3. Just randomly, I just got that game for Xbox 360 or
yeah, it's on the 360.
I don't really know much about it.
Just a brief about it there. I've played a little bit of it, and it's pretty good, but I will say starting out is a little difficult because it does seem a little overwhelming with all the bunch of shit you can do. But the combat in that game is a lot of fun. I especially like beating people up with a vegetable. Because you can equip anything in that game. It's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you can equip like a giant fucking leek and like beat the shit out of someone with it.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, amusing stuff like that.
If you are, if you're a samurai master or a ninja master, I would hope you'd be able to make use of whatever is available to you, and you should be able to, take out somebody. So that's cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trying to just kind of pull out some highlights, I guess. Tales of Vesperia Enhanced Edition. That's kind of neat. I didn't expect that.
Me neither. That's a game that like Bandai Namco always like puts out like a thing on April 1st saying like, oh, we're gonna make this. And it's like, oh wait, but look at the date.
Yeah. I saw after they announced it, somebody shared like a Twitter post where somebody had like tweeted at Bandai Namco and was like, hey, how about like a Tales of Vesperia remaster or remake or something? And they're like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And this was like years ago. And apparently Bandai Namco went back to that tweet from years ago and they're like, oh wait, never mind. Because now they're making it. Or they, and then, or maybe it was them that did, I don't know what the name of the meme is. It's the thing, it's something to do with like the new Avengers movie where like it's like the corner of the picture is like disappearing, fading away.
Yeah. That has to do with Thanatos or whatever.
I think they did that with the Twitter post too or something. Oh, it was silly, but that's pretty neat. I've never played Vesperia. I do have it now, but I just haven't gotten to it. So
yeah, personally, that's like one of my favorite Tales of games, mostly for the characters. But yeah, that one, I really like that one. And it's a shame that it was only on the 360, which I always thought was weird because, like, as much as I like the 360, that system, like, or the Xbox brand in general, was never really known for having a lot of, like, JRPGs like that.
Right.
So I always thought it was kind of odd why they never made it on both 360 and PS3. And then, they did a PS3 version later on, but it was only in Japan. And the only way to play in English is to do some complicated stuff. But now it is. Now you don't have to do that shit.
Yeah. And, maybe this is the opportunity for more people to check out the Tales series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I do think that is a really good one. Like, it is. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but it's up there. It's up there.
Sweet. Let's see. I'm not much of a Devil May Cry guy. I haven't played any Devil May Cry games, but Devil May Cry 5 got announced. I know some people weren't expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Looks interesting. I mean, looks like Devil May Cry as far as I could tell. Kind of like over the top and.
Oh yeah, no, I like that series. Although I mostly stick to just 3 and 4 for that series. Although I will say the reboot one where, Dante looks like a meth head. That one was actually good. Just, I just didn't like the way that the game looked. But that's just a minor thing, though. Like, I can live with that, though. But, I do like that series. I do think it's a good one. And Devil May Cry 5, I do think does look pretty interesting. Dante now looks like John Wick with white hair now, so that's that's pretty cool.
Yep. Then we got just like a random little teaser for, I guess, a reboot or a remake of Battletoads.
Yeah.
So no info with that, unfortunately, but could be cool. I mean, there's been some Battletoads recently. Killer Instinct, or not?
Yeah, he was in Killer Instinct. There was like there.
Right. Killer Instinct, and then Shovel Knight. So.
Yeah, that was something I always like when the Xbox One came out. I was thinking and they brought back Killer Instinct. I was thinking, why can't they do a Battletoads game? And I guess now they're finally doing it.
Yeah, maybe that's what took it. A little bit more attention It's kind of like it seems like, at least for people who know retro, most people are familiar with it, of course, for the infamous difficulty and whatnot. But that's cool. I'm really interested to see what they do with that.
Yeah, same here. And hopefully, if it is like an Xbox exclusive, though I'm pretty sure they probably might port it to PC probably. But if it is, though, I would consider getting an Xbox One for that, because there is other games that I also do want to get an Xbox One for. It's just not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, after this Microsoft's E3, it's like, maybe not this year, but next year, like, I would definitely consider possibly picking up an Xbox One. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming out.
Yeah, and also another thing that's good with the Xbox One is that you actually do have backwards compatibility with like the two other ones. So that's awesome.
That would be great if PlayStation would wise up and do that, because they're dominating the market as is, but it's like, hey, you can play your PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games on a PlayStation 4 now. Like, who the hell wouldn't buy that?
Yeah, that's one thing about the PS4 that I don't like. That's like my only flaw with that system that I can think of, is that you can't play like your older shit. Like, I can understand not playing the PS3 due to the fact that the PS3 hardware was very complicated compared to the others, but for PS1 and 2, it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, if my PC can, if a lot of people's computers, laptops and stuff can emulate PS1, PS2 games, I don't understand why they couldn't do like a software update. The laser reads the disc, read the disc and play the game. I don't know why it's so complicated. Someday maybe we'll get us like an all-in-one system that just plays everything. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Any other like Microsoft games that really stood out to you? I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
Let's see.
There's some. Was it Microsoft that did the presentation for Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, that game looks really cool. Even though they didn't really show gameplay of it. Yeah. I'm kind of like interested in the idea of it, because I always think that Cyberpunk games are always really fucking cool, and it's something you don't really see too often.
Yes, a lot of the Cyberpunk games seem to be like late 90s, early 2000s, and now with graphics being what they are, like there's a lot they could do there, and being CD Projekt Red, the Witcher series, like just that alone, and kind of the fact that they have been working on this game makes me really hopeful that this could be something pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that one.
And then let's see, we got Bethesda, kind of a lot of things people were expecting. Skyrim, more Skyrim.
The Skyrim joke.
Which apparently is not so much a joke, because you can actually get it on your Alexa or whatever.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. I think that's funny. I mean, at least they're recognizing the fact that the community at large thinks that they're ridiculous with how many systems they've ported it to. So, Yeah,
no, I will give them credit on that. They can take a joke and they can run with it.
Yeah. But I was not expecting Doom Eternal, which didn't show anything besides like a CG cutscene. But the fact that they're like, hey, we're working on a Doom sequel, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, no, that one's going to be interesting. I still need to play like the Doom reboot for whatever fuck you want to call it there, but I've seen a lot of it though, and it does look like a damn good game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then let's see, got another Wolfenstein prequel that's going to be a co-op deal. And I love the fact that everybody is clamoring for the next Elder Scrolls, and they didn't really give you much besides a title.
No.
Elder Scrolls 6, and people are like, oh my god. But it's nice that they acknowledge that they're like, hey, we are working on this. It's coming.
Yeah, that's going to be good because it has been a long time since they made another like Elder Scrolls game. And
yeah, besides the online one, which
yeah, yeah, I'm just that one.
And then how about let's see. I hear a lot of people are really excited for this. I'm not terribly familiar with it, but Devolver Digital announced that they were doing a Western release for Metal Wolf Chaos XD, the From Software mecha action game.
Yeah, I actually do know a lot about this, so it's a good thing you have me here. So basically, yeah, this game was originally on Xbox, the original one, and I think it was supposed to come out over here originally, but they didn't want to release it because, 9/11 happened not that long ago. So that's understandable. I'm not mad about that, but it's the fact that the game is like very Americanized, and it's you're the president, and you have a mech and you just blow the shit out of everything in America. It's basically the most American game you can think of. And FromSoft made it.
Yeah. I saw that they were using a tagline of Mecha, or it was like Mech America Great Again, and like people, like a lot of people got like triggered by it. They're like, you shouldn't be making references because this is not cool. It's like, it's a fucking joke. Like, have you looked at the game? This game looks ridiculous. I mean,
it's like it's basically a parody of itself when you think about it, and also like it has like really cheesy early voice acting, and that makes me happy.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people complain about bad voice acting, but I find a lot of it entertaining. It's it's something. I don't. I lost the word for it.
It's a magical experience that you only experienced back then.
Yes, there you go. Exactly.
But yeah, so, I love.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I will probably be checking out. Just kind of what I've seen so far. I like ridiculous stuff in games. I want to support, any other weird stuff that From Software wants to do. So
but yeah, no, that's a game I always wanted to play, but because like Xboxes are not like region free, and also that game, like if you wanted to import it, it's like a really expensive game. It's like over $100 because it's rare over there. Yeah, it's a pretty expensive, which is another reason why I'm so surprised that game is coming out over here. Because out of all the like Japanese only games to ever come out over here randomly, never expected that one too.
Yeah, why that one of all the possible games?
Next thing you know, we're gonna get Pepsi Man. I hope so.
I hope so, because that's a funny one, especially if they bring they reboot the commercial series too, because those are the best.
Yeah, they were great. But yeah, that one's gonna be awesome though.
Yeah. Let's see. Is glance at the list here. Of course, I mentioned Beyond Good and Evil 2. A lot of random stuff announced for the PC gaming show. A lot of indie titles that looked kind of neat. There was The Forgotten City, which looks interesting. Kind of, I got kind of like an adventure, like a simpler adventure game vibe, maybe like Journey-ish or something like that.
I can't remember what that is. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like I think a lot of the trailer was a girl. It was a very unique art style. She was like very dark red eyes, and like she was going around in a boat a lot, kind of looked almost like watercolorish or cell shading kind of thing. Just looked interesting. I think I'd be interested to see more of that, to kind of see what it's about. I think for the PC gaming show, the one game that looked the most interesting to me was Overkill's The Walking Dead. I I'm not much into like the TV show at all. I don't really care for the Walking Dead TV show, but the this and we had the Walking Dead Telltale games, which I really enjoyed. I haven't played the whole series yet. I've played the first and second seasons, which I really enjoyed. And I know there was like, I think there was a game on the PS3 or something that was pretty bad.
Oh, is that the first person shooting one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
This new one looks cool anyways, graphically. I kind of get the vibe it might be like maybe they have this information out there, but I just don't have it at this time. I kind of get the vibe that there might be like some cooperative play involved with it or something, but looks neat, I guess. I'll have to see some more. But I'm a fan of zombies. I know there's a lot of people who are tired of zombies or whatever, but like I always say, I've never not liked the zombies ever since I was a little kid. I like zombies. It's less about the zombies and more that here's a, whatever enemy force. Now we're going to focus on the human condition. I think it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I think zombies are cool. I mean, they're undead dudes and want to eat your brains or whatever. I dig it. And then let's see, where did I think I missed Square?
Yeah, Square is up at the top.
Square Enix. They had. There we go. More footage of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which it's an instant sell for me because I love the Tomb Raider series. Dragon Quest XI.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had trailers and stuff, but more Dragon Quest XI I think is cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, that one I really do want to get, but I don't know. I might wait on it there because I'm also getting Yakuza Kiwami 2, and that comes out like not that long before that. So
I'm sure.
And that game's going to take a while, so I'm like, no. But yeah, no, I do want it eventually, though, because I do love Dragon Quest.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've only played the very first, the Dragon Warrior for the NES. It's the only one I've played. I've always wanted to play the rest of them. I've had Dragon Quest VIII for years and years and years now, and I got a handful of friends that are like, you need to play this game. Like, don't play any other JRPGs. Just play Dragon Quest VIII. And I want to. I just haven't because I know they're really long, and for some reason I just haven't squeezed it in. So I was like, 11 looks really cool. I'm just gonna get it, and I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna be happy. So I'm stoked for that.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah, 8 is actually really fucking good, but it is also really long too.
Yeah. And then let's see. They had like a little trailer for The Quiet Man, which
I don't know what that is, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe it's like a stealth assassination game or something. Hard to tell with what they showed, but I'm interested at least.
Yeah, well, if you say it's kind of like a stealth game, do you think it's going to be kind of like a Thief style game, but like in modern times, or?
It might be because it wasn't Thief IDOS.
Yeah, Thief is IDOS or EVOS or
IDOS is owned by Square Enix now, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of like the new like spiritual successor or something. Because I know the last Thief game. It'll be interesting to see more of that. And then they had another trailer for Octopath Traveler, which looks sweet, but I don't have a Switch, so
yeah, I'm getting that one. I actually do own a Switch, and yeah, that's one of the games that really wanted me to get one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and then we had Sony's conference showed us some actual gameplay of Last of Us Part 2, which my thoughts on the original should be pretty well known for anybody who listens. I absolutely love the first game.
Yeah,
Sure, the second one's gonna be awesome too.
Yeah, the first game was really good. I really liked it too. I didn't think I was gonna like it much. I don't know why. I was thinking it was just gonna be some overhyped game that everyone was fapping off to there. But after I played, I was like, yeah, this is actually really good.
Yeah, mostly just the story and the characters. Joel and Ellie, like they make the game. Like the gameplay for the first Last of Us isn't even that great. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on with the gameplay, but it just seemed like everything else was so good. It's like, we'll kind of let that slide. And hopefully they expand on the gameplay a lot with the sequel, which from what they showed, if that's like all stuff that is like actually happening in the game, like that's some crazy shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the second one does look really good, just from what we've seen. It looks a lot more smooth than the original, which I think is always good.
Yeah.
If they kept it the same, that'd be a little disappointing,
Yeah. And then let's see. They gave us a trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, which has me more hyped. That's sweet.
Yeah, no, that one looks fucking awesome shit. Like, I remember when we saw the first trailer for that, I was like, okay, we're getting us another samurai game. This could be cool, and it's done by Sucker Punch. So that's interesting, because they've never done a game that looked like that.
Right. Yeah, I'd forgotten who Sucker Punch was before the podcast, so I just looked it up, and yeah, Sly Cooper and Infamous is their claim to fame. So it's always neat when a developer like is really like going out of their normal comfort zone to try something different.
Yeah, so you got like a cartoony looking like stealth game to like, I don't know, some like superhero kind of game that's kind of gritty-ish, and then now we got like a gritty samurai game.
Yeah, they take a little bit, the best elements of Sly Cooper and Infamous, and we got Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, so that and then there's one that I had never even heard of that I'm like super curious to see more about, and it's a game called Control.
Oh yeah, I remember
that was like the trailer was this like crazy like Inception. I mean, like that's what I was thinking the whole time when I was watching the trailer. It's just like the crazy like bending scenery and
oh yeah.
I mean, if like that's something that they keep up the for the whole game, like that's right up my alley. Like I love weird visuals and abstract stuff in games.
Yeah, I love the movie Inception, by the way. So awesome for mentioning that. Like it seems interesting. They didn't show gameplay, so I can't be like super hyped about it, but I'm interested to see more.
Yeah. And I it sounds like one of the ones that most people agree that has them like super stoked is we finally got some info on Resident Evil 2 Remake, which when I was watching I don't know if you watched the conference live or if you caught, like when they first started showing it for a second and they had the rat running around, I was like, what is this? And then they started talking, and then talking in the background. I was like, wait a second. I was like, is this Resident Evil 2? Is this Resident Evil 2? And then they finally, show Leon. People are like, oh my god! I'm not like people do all these reaction videos and stuff. Like most of the time when I watch these trailers, I'm if I'm just sitting here by myself, I'm just like, straight face. I'm absorbing content. But the Resident Evil 2 one, like, actually got me like, oh fuck, like. Actually excited because I've been waiting for that for a while, and they gave us a release date, which is even crazier. I think January 25th, 2019. Now, are there going to be delays? Maybe, but hey, the dream's alive at this point.
Yeah, funny enough, Resident Evil 7 was released in January of last year, so that's kind of
good point. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that because Resident Evil 2 is like one of my favorite Resident Evil games. I think it's a lot of people's favorites, but hey, It's fucking good shit. But yeah, no, the remake, I always thought, like, because whenever people bring this up, I usually think it's just vaporware. Like, it's always like a concept that's just kind of floating around, but it's just never just gonna happen. Kind of like the whole Half-Life 3 joke. That's what I always thought of it as, but now it's like, oh shit, like, it exists.
Yes. And from what they've shown, like, looks pretty dang good. Like, I would like to see more, kind of like what they're gonna do with like Birkin, and how faithful are they staying to Resident Evil 2? And
well, if they can kind of do similar to what they did with the first remake on the GameCube, I would be more than happy with that, because that was a damn good remake too.
Yeah, fantastic. One of my favorite remakes, like, of all remakes for games. They nailed that one.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So we know they can do it. So that is sweet. And then let's see. A very polarized maybe game. We're not sure still. We had another trailer for Death Stranding, which most people don't seem like they're too interested. I guess I'm a Kojima fanboy, and I'm pretty stoked, even though I have no idea what the hell I'm looking at most of the time. I could still be excited and hope for the best, and that's what I'm hoping for. I've seen a lot of people saying that they didn't show any gameplay, which is not true. They showed some gameplay, although it was just characters walking. It's technically gameplay, but it looks good. I mean, graphically it looks good, but like, what the hell is going on? Like, what can we do in this game? We don't know yet, but it's something. People are wanting to see more. Here's some more. Let's have some patience. Like, there's a good chance this game's still not coming out for like another 2 years. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking, because they didn't show a release date. So I was thinking, like, there's a chance that this game might not even come like 2019, might be 2020. So
yeah, I would be shocked if it came out next year, because I mean, it's only been working on this for like a year and a half now, or maybe 2 years. It's not very long at all.
I think when did the first trailer shown? Was it 2015 or 2016? I forget.
I thought it was 16, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, no, because 15 was the year where they showed like Final Fantasy VII Remake was coming, and then Shenmue 3 was coming. Yeah, that was like the 1 year where like all that like shit was happening. Yeah.
And the one thing that I was really, I think above all other things, I was really looking forward to hopefully seeing was something about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've been seeing a lot of people joking how Nintendo had more Final Fantasy VII than Square Enix did, because the Smash trailer.
Oh yeah.
But I know a lot of people are like, we're not seeing anything, so I'm not gonna get hyped. I'm not gonna get interested. But that's what I get excited for games. I love Final Fantasy VII. I'm very much looking forward to the remake. So we'll get some more. We got a Tokyo Game Show coming up. Maybe we'll see some stuff. Maybe not. But it was a bummer not to get like any Final Fantasy VII.
Not even like a minimal update. Like, they could have just like talked about like a little update on it for like 2 minutes, and I think that would have made people somewhat happy, right?
Yeah, and especially I think there's a lot of concerns with the recent news that like whatever third-party studio was working on it, Square Enix it's like, no, you're done. We're taking it back. Working on it in-house. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean you guys are starting over from scratch? Like, did they screw something up and you got to fix it? Like what's going on? Give us a little something, just to show a good faith that you're doing the fans right.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear a lot of like rumor stuff about that, and I can believe it. It seems believable considering how long the game will be in development for, and it took years just to get Final Fantasy 15.
So, yeah.
Nomura,
no joke.
That dude is just slow as molasses.
We had, I think the last presentation that we haven't touched on was Nintendo's.
Well, yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo's like the other big one. Yeah.
Or AKA the Smash presentation.
Yeah.
They talked about it for like 35 minutes or something.
Yeah, that was a little overboard. I will admit.
Are you? Do you play the Smash games?
Oh yeah, I love the Smash games. I love the first one on N64. Mealee's like one of my favorites. I even liked Brawl. I know a lot of people, especially in the competitive scene, don't like it as much, but I still really liked it. Mostly for the story mode that they had, but I liked it overall, and I liked all the other ones too. So yeah, I am looking forward to this new Smash. The only thing with this E3 that I think they could have done is that they should have just told you like, oh yeah, we're having like all the characters from every single Smash game in here, and then not bother going through all the different changes. They should have just did that at its own like little direct, because they've done that before with Smash Bros on the Wii U, where they made it just a Smash direct, where that was all it was, talking about the updates and shit.
Yeah.
That's what I think they should have done.
But I'm not much of a Smash player. Mostly just I haven't had those games when they're like being played and being popular and stuff. But for a Smash fan, I would say that this does look like the ultimate Smash game, no pun intended.
Yeah, no, it does look like a really good one. It also looks like they balanced out a lot of things, because but even with all this shit like that they're talking with the game, it seems like people are still complaining about it, and I'm like, really, dude? Like, you have a Smash game that has like everyone in it. Like, how could you not love that?
Yeah, for sure. And then one game that I found has my interest peaked is the Daemon X Machina.
Oh yeah, that game looked fucking badass shit.
Mech based action game of some sort.
Yeah, from what they showed of it, it kind of looked like a Platinum Games kind of game a little bit. That's what it looked like to me. It kind of looked like a Vanquish style game. Which, if that is the case, that'd be fucking amazing. But yeah.
Yeah. Again, kind of like another one of those games that makes me think that I need to get a Switch sooner than later, because they're starting to stack up some good releases on that system that I'm really feeling like I'm missing out on.
Yeah, there's some good stuff on there. Not just like the Nintendo IPs, but there is a few good like indie games that are only on there right now, and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of indie releases, they have finally put out Hollow Knight on the Switch. So that is awesome. So hopefully that game gets a lot more attention, because it is so good. Like I've said before, I would argue one of the best like Metroidvania games like ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've looked into that game a few times, and it looks like a fucking awesome game. It's just I don't know, when it comes with me and PC gaming, I always forget the shit that I have. Mm-hmm. Like with Cuphead, for an example, it's an awesome fucking game. Like, I played it like once, and I streamed it, and I was loving it and shit. But then after I played it, and then like I didn't play it again, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot I had this. Yeah, that's the thing. I always forget what games are available, what games I already have, because there's like so many crazy sales on there. But yeah, with the Hollow Knight on the Switch, though, that's really cool.
Yeah. And one game that I'm actually kind of surprised but excited for at the same time is there is going to be a I guess a Switch version of a game called Killer Queen Black. Are you familiar with Killer Queen?
Nope, I never even heard about it at all.
Yeah, so this is a game that I just learned about maybe a year or so ago. And what Killer Queen is, typically, excluding this upcoming release, is it's an arcade game. And what the arcades will do is they'll actually have two machines. And I think each machine might be like 5 or 6 players. So you have two machines of like 5 to 6 players basically kind of like having this war. Like you'll be like two groups of essentially like warrior bees, and you're like fighting each other trying to get this like resource to your queen, and it's a really fun game. Like I had so much fun when I played it, and I don't get to an arcade very often. And I've always thought that, hey, that would be a sweet game to throw on, PlayStation Network or Steam or something. So it's cool to see that there is a port of this coming out, because it's a really fun game.
Yeah, I never heard of it until like it was shown. I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I thought it kind of looked like Joust a little bit, like
yes,
a story game.
Yeah, sort of, for sure.
Yeah, and I take it doesn't have the song "Killer Queen" by Queen.
Probably not.
No, that would have been great though.
It makes sense. Let's see. I think the only other Nintendo announcement that kind of stood out to me was, and I didn't see much information on it, but they announced the next Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah, I was looking into that one too. Yeah, I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan, by the way.
That's one of those series I've always wanted to play, and I've never played any of the games, mostly because I haven't played much handheld stuff. Like I have a lot of the handheld systems now, but for some reason I never play my handheld games. I really need to fix that.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. But they have a few that are on consoles, but sadly they're like really expensive.
Yes.
Like, there was like the GameCube one and the Wii one, and it's a shame too because they're like some of my favorite ones too. Like as much as I love the Awakening on the 3DS, I love the Wii one. Like it's like my top favorite personally.
Okay, I have actually like an acquaintance a few years ago. Just randomly gave me a copy of Radiant Dawn.
The Wii one, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I had this. I don't need it anymore. Here, you can have it. I was like, sweet.
There you go. That's way to go.
So, I guess kind of before we move on, are there any other games that just throughout E3 that you wanted to mention that kind of stood out to you? Or
well, the fact that we're getting Neo 2 is pretty interesting.
Oh yes. I saw that news. I immediately sent the message to my friend because my friend doesn't watch the E3 stuff, and that's his game. So he's excited, and that's just more encouragement for me to play. I need to play Neo still. I haven't played it.
If you like Dark Souls, I think you'll definitely like Neo. It kind of feels like Dark Souls meets like the 3D Ninja Gaidens in a way, sort of. I say that loosely though, but it does kind of remind me of that in the sense that it's a really fast paced game, and obviously it has ninja stuff in it and all that badass stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they did a really good job with that game, even though I know a lot of people say, like, oh, it's just a ripoff. But, like, that's not necessarily, like, a bad thing. Like, they did do a couple things in that game that I feel that it can, like, stand up on its own.
For sure. That's pretty cool. I mean, they didn't really show much, but again, like the fact that they're like, hey, we're working on this, I think is great. It's just a fan pleaser.
Oh yeah, but I don't expect that one to come out for a while because I remember Neo, the first one. That game was originally going to be like an early PS3 game, but it just took forever to come out. Okay.
Yeah, and it was last year, like early last year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, eh?
Yeah. But, I mean, the fact that they already announced a sequel says good things, I think. So, yeah. Let's see. So, then I think we could probably... the initial idea that we had with the podcast was kind of just in general talking about E3 and stuff. And Jason had presented the idea of doing top 5 picks of games that we're most excited for. individually. So it is very unfortunate that things didn't work out and he couldn't be here tonight. But hopefully we can get his list somehow, some point. But I figured let's kind of just run through a list of the games that we're most excited for from E3, I guess. Top 5 sounds good.
Yep.
So yeah, my list is probably not going to be surprising at all to most people who know me, but it is what it is. So do you want to go ahead and start out with your number 5 pick?
Yeah, my number 5 pick is, ironically enough, Devil May Cry 5.
Right on. Have you? So you've played the whole series. You prefer 3 and 4?
Yeah, I played the whole series. Yeah, funny enough, the first one I played in that series was 2, which is the one that like everybody fucking hates.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. And I think, I've been struggling with my list, because there's just so many games I'm stoked for, but I think I am going to go number 5 for me, Control, which was the weird Inception looking game. Like I said, I like weird, so I'm pretty interested to see what they do with that. So yeah, not a whole lot to say. If anybody hasn't seen that trailer, I definitely recommend checking it out because it looks pretty wild. So how about number 4? What's your number 4 pick?
My number 4 pick is Tales of Vesperia Enhanced Edition.
Awesome.
Yeah, I already said what I need to say about it, so.
Yeah, sure. So my number 4, and I had a hard time picking between the two, and these are, potentially similar games in some regards, but I think I'm going with Ghost of Tsushima. I was thinking about Sekiro, but I don't know. The Ghost of Tsushima looks like it could do some really cool things, maybe a little bit more grounded, which is sweet.
Yep.
So then number 3, what would be your number
3?
Wait, or 4? No, yeah, 3. Yeah, we're on 3.
It's all good. My number 3 is Metal Wolf Chaos. Like I said, it's a game I always wanted to play, and the fact that we got such a random ass game like that over here, fucking great. We need to do that more often. God damn it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of that in Japan that I think we as Westerners could benefit from the craziness.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, people are gonna whatever. Like I said, I'm a Kojima fanboy, so this isn't leaving my list until the game is out, and hopefully it's fantastic. But I'm gonna throw Death Stranding as my number 3. I like I said, I have a lot of faith in Kojima. I love my Metal Gear series, and there's a lot of potential here. That's all I can say. I still don't really know what's going on. We haven't seen much, but there's that light at the end of the tunnel that I'm hoping for. So
yeah, one thing I want to say about Death Stranding real quick is that I think I have an idea of what the game could be about. Of course, I could be totally off, but just from going what we've seen, is that it kind of seems like a game where like the baby that Norman Reedus has, it looks like that's like the last kid on Earth, and you have to like protect it from like all like the dangerous shit. And it seems like kind of like the Last Man Standing or the Last Man on Earth kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Something kind of like that, where they had to repopulate the world. That's what
Interesting.
I
dig it. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I think it could be about, and that actually is a pretty cool concept made into a game that I don't see that often. And of course, knowing Kojima with his weird ideas, I mean, he can definitely make something like that work.
For sure. And the whatever the hell those figures are, the like shadows or ghosts or something like that, when they showed that scene where he's like walking through and the little detectors going off and showing those things, like I think that's badass. Like,
Yeah,
what are those things? Like, what are they gonna do with them? Like, I get the impression that like if you like fuck up and you get caught, like there's like that puddle thing that opens up and like sucked him in at the end of the trailer there. Like they could do some pretty cool things, you know. They could do some cool stuff. Like I said, a lot of potential. I'm gonna remain hopeful.
yeah, same here. Like, I think it looks interesting, and you know, it's in a good developer's hands. So
Yes. So then, what would be your number 2?
number 2 would be the like we mentioned earlier, the Fire Emblem game that's coming out.
Excellent. Did they haven't really put any info out about it, have they?
Not really. Like, I don't even know if there's a release date for it yet. Not that I can remember, but from what they showed of it though, it did look really cool though. Like, it looks like that they have certain segments where you can like freely like walk around, which that's great, because one of my favorite tactical RPGs called Growlancer, I did a review of it a while ago. Like, the third game in that series has that ability where it's like a real-time like strategy tactical game, but once you like get out of battles, you can go like walk around in towns and stuff. So if they place kind of like that, like but with Fire Emblem, I'm fucking down with that.
Sweet. So my number 2 pick is going to be Resident Evil 2. Kind of already said my piece on that. So I'm stoked. I mean, I love Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah.
And then number 1, what game had you most excited?
Actually, yeah, it had to be Resident Evil 2.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And I picked The Last of Us 2. Just because I mean, whatever lists, I'm excited about all these games, kind of, you know, arbitrary top 5 or whatever, but you know, it's always fun to talk about it. I think pretty much any of these games that we've mentioned are going to be hopefully fantastic.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Like, I don't doubt that none of them are going to be awful, you know?
Right.
No.
Hopefully not. Maybe Death Stranding, but no.
Well, I mean, Kojima has slipped up once before, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, no,
That's for sure.
Everyone has made mistakes. Even Miyamoto has made mistakes, so hey, it happens to everyone.
Yeah. So I think that probably does it mostly for any like final thoughts on E3 from this year.
Well, it just gives me hope that 2019 will be another fucking great year. And that's not to say that this year isn't bad. I think this year is a good year too. But I did feel it did start out a little bit slow, at least compared to last year. But I still think there is a lot of good games that came out. Like man, believe it or not, I was never really a huge like God of War fan, but that newer one looks really good. Like, that actually looks like a game I think I would really like.
It definitely is. That game, like I said on the last podcast, like it pretty much blew my expectations out of the water. Like, I went into it not expecting a whole lot and got more than I had hoped for. Yeah, like this year it kind of seems like I'm just cranking through games, but like everything that I've been playing that's like new has been pretty solid. Like Agony so far is like the only one that kind of faltered a little bit there. You know, not every game that we just kind of randomly pick up is going to be great, but you know, it's another great year so far. I mean, I'm pretty happy, and we still have half the year to go, which is crazy.
Yeah, there's even still good stuff coming out like this fall. Like September looks like a really busy month.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's too many games. I think I already have like 4 or 5 games on pre-order, and it's like I'm not even gonna be able to play these games when they come out because I'm playing this whatever game, and I'm still trying to squeeze in more games. Like I need to make more time for games somehow, but there's only 24 hours in a day, and first world problems, right?
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. So then, yeah, I think that'll mostly do it for E3 talk. Probably have to kind of start wrapping things up here. I'm not exactly sure. I kind of lost track of where we were at on time, but yeah. So I just wanted to just briefly cover the community question, which I think I forgot to copy into our little outline here. But last week, the question from Eric DeGraff was, what are our favorite game openings or intros? So we kind of expanded that to like actual, like you turn on the game, that initial intro, or an intro like once you start the game. So I know we hadn't really like presented that question to you, but can you think of any like intros off the top of your head that you really like?
Well, funny enough, I did a video list on my favorite intros before, so it's easy for me to take that.
Oh, yeah, actually, I think I remember you doing that video now.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but yeah, I've seen a lot of other really good intros since then, but I'll still stick with the one I picked for that one as my number one favorite, and that was Soul Blade on PS1.
Very cool. I haven't played Soul Blade. That's the predecessor to Soul Calibur, right?
Yeah, it's the first one. The first Soul Calibur before Soul Calibur 1.
Yes. Yeah, and for me, I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't get away with I had my initial thoughts on what I would pick for this, and I don't know. I tried thinking of other things, and I just couldn't. So I'm just gonna stick with what I initially thought. So I've always loved the Chrono Trigger opening, kind of get you hyped for the story before you play the story, showing you some highlight scenes and whatnot. That amped up Chrono theme that they have during the intro, I loved. But besides that, kind of more of a like actual like once you start the game, two that I wanted to throw out there was the initial intro scene for Final Fantasy VI, which I thought was, I mean, there wasn't anything like that really in that era of games, kind of like this cinematic opening credit scene, just music and mechs walking, using that, almost like the mode 7, as they're walking up the hill to Narsh. I've always loved that scene. And then just because it was more recent and I guess in some ways kind of relevant, the intro for The Last of Us is crazy and intense. It's like, yeah, I love those. So
yeah, those are definitely good picks, especially Final Fantasy VI, since that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, same. So then, we didn't really get much for community responses on that question. So kind of keeping it simple for this week for everybody listening. Just go ahead and let us know what your highlight for E3 was. Favorite game, favorite games. Let us know. I'm curious because it seems like everybody's kind of excited for something different, which I think is sweet.
Oh yeah, yep, that's for damn sure.
So then, yeah, so we'll kind of move into the little closing segment here of kind of what you got planned coming up in the next few weeks. Like, what are you playing coming up here? Besides, I know you're working on Grandia 2. I'd imagine you'll keep working on that, but
Yeah.
Any other eminent gaming plans?
Well, I'm not sure what game I want to play next. I know, of course, I'm still trying to like do like games that I play for like my videos. That's usually what I try and do. But for games that I just want to play just for fucking around in, though, well, I don't know which one I want to start up next. There's a few I have in mind, but I know like for the next big release game that I want to get is Octopath, which comes out next month. So
Yeah,
that will be one for sure.
Well, I hope everybody has fun because, yeah, I like for most of the Switch releases, that's probably the one that I'm most interested in. But like I said, I don't have a Switch, so hopefully it delivers and it's a great game because there's a lot of potential there to be a great throwback kind of Square RPG.
Yeah, and I love the art style too. I think it's very unique looking.
Yeah, I love it. Sprites, man, you can't beat sprites for me, anyways. I love sprites.
Nah, I love sprites too. Nah, they're great.
And then for me, as far as what I'm gonna be playing next, I was going to jump into Detroit Become Human since I picked that up as well, but I'm kind of thinking of maybe playing Axiom Verge, which I haven't played yet. The Cartridge Club, that's actually their game of the month for this month, and I thought maybe this is a good opportunity if I just maybe I squeeze it in. I don't think it's a super long game, so I could probably maybe knock it out in a weekend or something. So I'm not sure yet, but it's definitely, if I don't play Axiom, it'll probably be Detroit Become Human, and then I'm not sure after that. My backlog of new games is always growing, which is a terrible habit of mine, and
yeah,
it's a struggle.
Last year, this year it hasn't been as bad because I've been kind of being resourceful because I spent a lot of money on other things, so I've been kind of trying to do that. Yeah.
Yep. Is what it is, but I have pretty much a never-ending supply of games. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure I can't finish all the games that I have in my lifetime, but I'm gonna try. And it's only gonna get worse as more new games come out. So, good problem. Good problem to have.
Well, I mean, it's better than doing drugs and all that.
Right, that's the alternative. I could be smoking rocks out on the corner or something, but play video games instead. Keeps me on the straight and narrow. So, yeah, I think that's mostly going to be it for this podcast. I just want to let people know how they can get a hold of us. You are on YouTube as BioPhoenix.
Yep.
You don't have a BioPhoenix Facebook page, correct? Or do you?
I do have one, but I haven't really used it in such a long time because every time I post something on there, it's a lot of work, and most people don't really see it because
Facebook buries everything.
Yeah, and Facebook reach is just bullshit in general. So I mostly just usually I try to run a Discord group that people can join, and if they want to get in contact with me, that's the best way to do it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that information is available on your channel.
Yeah, it should still be there. I know they have this weird thing where Discord does where a link can expire, which is dumb. But I think the one that's on here on my channel should take you there directly. Excellent. I think so.
Yeah, and of course I will have a link to your channel in the description of the video. And if anybody visits my channel, I have them listed in the kind of recommended channels. I think I named mine Awesome Channels or something. So, or look up BioPhoenix.
Yeah, I have you on my list, and I named my little thing Channels That Need More Love.
Much appreciated. So then for myself and Jason, you can, of course, look us up on YouTube, myself as The Game Grinder, Jason as Corpse Flood Gaming. We are both also on Facebook as well. And then I'm on Twitter at @the_Game Grinder and Instagram now as well as The Game Grinder. So look us up. You'll find us. Of course, the podcast will be hosted on YouTube, SoundCloud, podcast apps, iTunes. Look us up and you will find it. So again, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're able to take the time out of your schedule. It's been something that I've wanted to do for a while to get you on the podcast here. I know you've been listening for a while, and I appreciate all the support and the comments that you leave us. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, not a problem at all. And yeah, like I said, I always do like trying to do these things as much as I can. It just, it sucks that like a lot of people I know are in different time zones.
Yes.
So that's another thing that gets really messed up.
Yeah, I think you're an hour. Are you an hour ahead of me? Where is it? Where you are right now?
It's 1:30 a.m.
Yeah. So thanks for staying up late for the podcast.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Again, I want to apologize on behalf of myself and Jason that he couldn't make it tonight. Technical difficulties. Wouldn't be the Game Tenants podcast without technical difficulties. That's kind of our MMO or MMO. But I am pretty sure that Jason will be back on the next episode, and things will get back to normal. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
All right, so thanks for watching, commenting, and have yourselves a good day.
Have a good one.